Hello, my name is Taylor Shaw, and this is my informal learning project presentation based off of the website that I've created, teachingmadeeasy.org. I will post a link to the website along with these Google Slides in my discussion board post so that you can view both, especially because if I speed through a slide, this way you'll be able to go back and read them. I've created teachingmadeeasy.org as a website to help teachers improve upon their teaching skills. I am most passionate about teaching and education. It's what I spend 99% of my time thinking about. So I really wanted to focus on something that I enjoy and something that I could keep using and keep working on, even well after this course is over. The idea it was to create a website, and the website kind of spawned off into even more things, including a discussion forum, a blog. It kept growing. I do want to note that the blog is very small. It's kind of just an about me as far as why the website was created. So the purpose of this site was not to necessarily create a discussion forum or try to create a lot of dialogue in between with the site visitors, but that's what it formed into just by chance. And another thing I just want to throw out or acknowledge about the learning experience was that a majority of the people who visited the site were on a mobile device, which makes me think that moving forward, this might be something that could be better used as maybe an app. But that's something that I can talk about later. I want to go over some of the learning comparisons. Within the state of Florida, teachers do have to acquire a certain number of professional development points or hours in order to recertify and continue with their teaching license. Of course, an informal learning environment is not going to provide teachers with that extra point or that credit towards their licensing. There are a few similarities, but pretty much I've included a snippet here on the screen that you can see on the left-hand side. This is from my own school district. Teachers can log in, they can select a course. Most trainings are just your basic facilitator led, they're dispensing knowledge. The learner takes it in, they can take it and implement it if they choose. Sometimes there are follow-up options. Whereas within website, this is something that teachers are doing from the freedom of their own space. They are exploring it. They can go and ask anonymous questions. They can leave feedback. They can share. They can decide, I'm just going to look at this and do nothing with it. But all of the agency completely lies within the learner to come and explore this, to seek it out. That's why I put interest-driven down there in the center, because both of these two options for teaching, for learning as an educator, have to come from some sort of interest. You have to have a drive to keep continuing to do this, whether it is a drive to keep your job or a drive to improve upon yourself. No matter what, there has to be something. Some of the theories that I pulled on are mainly, once I saw how the site developed, was creating a community of learners. And what's happening on this site right now is that the knowledge is being shared between newcomers and old timers. Like, I'm watching it happen live just in this virtual environment. And I hope some of you visit the site and can read through some of the comments within the community forum, because that's really where I think the learning is taking place. That's where the thoughts are being shared and ideas are being discussed. And I think that may be because teachers love to talk and teachers love to be heard, and teachers, they thrive on that. So it's been somewhere that teachers have gravitated towards. As far as natural engagement, I have shared this with many of the teachers at my school, and I've tried to share it with my friends, see if they'll pass it on. So that's where a lot of the site visitors are coming from. I just want to be completely upfront with that. But I'm hoping that in the future, it will spawn to more people naturally gravitating towards it. But I do want to focus, like, this is turned into a very social experiment, I guess, or a social activity, because that's what's happening, and I'll explain more in just a bit. Some of the literature that I found really focuses on this supporting idea of teachers on their own terms searching and using internet as a resource to learn virtually. So the first one, the Carter et al. Article, they pretty much found that when teachers are using blog sites and social media, they found that it was very, very useful as a way to engage teachers and to help them develop professionally. The second article, the Parsons article, was along the lines of like surveying teachers. They found that the teachers enjoyed online learning when it was on their own terms, when they could choose to participate, when to participate, how they were participating, when they were participating. So online, that was more focused on like traditional PD, professional development, but the online part was there. This third article I found really emphasized that virtual communities foster learning. So having that option to go in and talk and build a community and feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself really contributed to the learning that was taking place and the engagement. So what that brings me to my observations. I did not think that the forum was going to be the leading or the most clicked part of my site. I had no clue that this was even going to be a thing. It was just by happenstance. And what happened was we put it out there, just a general discussion, and that's where everyone gravitated towards. I was most surprised, and I think this became a challenge for me, is that what I wanted to teach and what I wanted the teachers to take away, or the people visiting the site to take away, whether they were teachers, whether they were homeschool parents, or just anyone who wanted to explore the site, I really wanted them to go through the resources and ideas. And this was my least visited site because I had links to additional websites here, and this was the least explored. And so what I've done to kind of combat that, I think maybe I had added too much. I've scaled it back to just 3 main topics that I'm going to rotate in and out so that it's not so overwhelming, because I had like 9 resources and ideas that linked to additional topics. And I've hidden 6 of them to give so that it doesn't seem so overwhelming, in hopes that it'll drum up some interaction with this part of the website. So for some recommendations for the future. So if I could redo this project, or if I had time to keep working on it and changing it and creating new iterations, I would recommend to continue providing or focusing on the forum, and based on creating that community of learners. I would go in and post and can keep the discussions going on the forum, whereas I have not made any of them. I've been hands off. I've only left that to people who are visiting the site right now. I posted the originals to get it going, but everything added on has been other people, and them just sharing their ideas or sharing their information. I also, based on the Barron article about the learning ecologies, I found it interesting how I should take a systems approach and offer a variety of strategies. So maybe I would add to the forum, or increase, maybe adding YouTube videos or something along those lines to create a variety of options on the website, because a website is so universal and offers all of those different outlets. Third thing I would focus on in the future is increasing inclusion. One, following all the ADA guidelines just for inclusion, like the alt text for images that doesn't really exist right now on my site as it should. Descriptive anchors for the text links. So links that I have going to outside resources, I have not put anchors in for them yet. Those are just things on the back end that I would need to do to continue keeping the site up to standards. But also, when researching inclusion, this was my favorite definition. It's inclusion is the involvement and empowerment where the inherent worth and dignity of all people are recognized. And I think that recognized word was really calling to me when I found this definition from Fair State University in Michigan. And it says an inclusive learning environment promotes and sustains a sense of belonging. So one thing I would consider doing to keep that feeling of inclusion, and based off of UDL, keeping the engagement going and creating that action and having teachers go back in and express themselves and feel represented on the site. One, maybe creating an emailing or mailing list of some sort, or creating a list of experts that people could ask for assistance or something where they felt like they were represented on the site themselves, almost like they become part of it or become part owners in a way. Like, and then the other thing would be even something as simple as emailing a thank you after a site visitor posts. If they provide their email and become a member or join the site, that could foster that engagement. It could keep the conversation going. Plus, they would receive an email and it would link them back to really push that involvement and that sense of belonging, like they could be included within the site, like their thoughts and their ideas matter. And that would give them some sort of empowerment over, or give them some power over their own posts and their own interaction with the website. Lastly, I wanted to share, I know I'm crunching on time right now, my references, but again, I will link this and I will put a post link to my website. Please go visit if you can and provide any sort of advice to make this stronger or any sort of ideas that you have. I would love to hear them. And I want to thank you for listening and watching.